The sun rises on a new day, casting an orange glow on Maison Tower. This amber radiance is not without its irony, a reminder of what the tower has lost. It has been nearly 2 whole days since Steiner Optics made off with Jazmine, and with each hour that passes by, the uncertainty of her fate weighs heavier and heavier. Alexa stands with Theo and Weston as the bookish Mina exits Maison Tower to join them. Early yesterday evening, the four had come together to prepare for this rescue mission under her guidance and carefully crafted instruction. And today would be the day to execute their plan.
Are you sure you're ready for all this, Mina?
Theo asks, a concerned hand placed upon her shoulder. Mina forces a smile.
Mr. Upman thinks I'm going to class, so we should be all squared away.
I don't think that's what Theo's asking.
Weston replies.
This plan is, well, spotty, to put it lightly.
I know, but they say the first 48 hours are the most critical in a missing persons case. We don't exactly have the luxury of time on our hands.
It's now or never.
Alexa agrees, asserting herself with an appropriate tone of authority.
And never is not an option. I'm not about to let anyone get in the way of saving my Jazmine.
With a silent collective agreement, the group makes their way toward Electric Avenue. But they are not alone in their endeavor. Sunny Cher and Eloise Margot stand defiantly in their way, arms crossed and stances wide.
And where do you think you're going?
The usually bubbly model asks with a surprising edge of bitterness.
The best laid plans of mice and men.
Weston mutters in disillusion.
Oh, that's enough out of you, negative Nancy.
Theo remarks, slapping Weston in the arm. Eloise clears her throat.
Shall I ask a simple question, no? Where do you think you're going?
Desperate, Mina scrambles for an answer.
They're coming to class with me. I have a journalism assignment and...
Eloise takes a menacing step toward the mousy secretary, her superior height and the aid of her heels allowing her to tower over the smaller girl.
Oh, a budding journalist, investigating government secrets with former CIA agents and KGB spies. How fascinating.
How do you...
Mina stutters.
Oh, we know everything now.
Sunny brags.
About stands, gypsy eyes, and the fact that JoJo isn't just missing, she was kidnapped!
Alexa sneers at her fellow models blocking her way, striding forward to meet Eloise's unyielding defiance with her own smoldering glare. Nose to nose, Alexa makes a threatening demand.
Then you know exactly where we're going. Get out of my way, Eloise, before I do something I regret.
The Gallic obstacle refuses to give way, instead casually looking down at her freshly manicured nails as she ponders aloud.
I wonder what your reward is for turning in a commie. Of course, I'm not interested in the money. I can think of much worse things.
Sunny's confident composure from earlier dissipates as she looks at Eloise in confusion.
Wait, what would be worse than turning Alexa over to the government?
Simple.
Eloise smirks, looking back at the Russian agent to make her threat.
We could let Upman know that everyone here has been playing detective on the clock.
Oh, yeah.
Sunny nods in agreement.
That would be way worse.
The air is tense as Alexa seethes, her companion standing nervously behind her with bated breath. Through gritted teeth, Alexa questions Eloise's outlandish audacity.
Just who the hell do you think you are?
Eloise momentarily withdraws her stern expression in surprise, taken aback by the rhetorical question posed to her. It was a question that didn't need an answer, because there was only one to give. Eloise shakes her head.
Oui.
She underscores, gesturing to everyone present with open arms. With a scoff, Eloise reminds Alexa upon which steps they are all gathered.
Oui. Our maison.
Mina carries a fresh pile of sheets to the housekeeping cart awaiting her in the Livewire Motel's reception office as Peace of Mind quickly swaps the tape containing the steward's memory of the room assignments with her own short-term memories of her morning routine. Sure enough, Steiner Optics' name remained in room 201 where Alexa had said he supposedly resided. Loading the laundry cart, Mina recalls an earlier briefing she gave to her compatriots prior to enacting their strategy.
Well, this new development complicates things. But I think we can make this work to our advantage,
she assured everyone after learning of their new allies' respective abilities. In a huddle, Mina continued reaffirming their overall plan of attack and each team member's responsibilities, as if a war general to her troops.
We are operating under the assumption that Steiner Optics is either the Square Biz killer or just a crazy superfan. Both are not good. In one scenario, he's a potential stand user, so we can't just waltz in on the offensive. On the other, there's just no telling what kind of danger Jazz is in.
The paranoid Weston gave Mina's own anxiety a run for her money.
I don't know too much about how the CIA works. My only point of reference is Get Smart, but I don't think it's a good idea to call the police in this situation.
Doing her best not to let his trepidation faze her, she simply agreed and proceeded.
Right. We have to be discreet, which is going to be a little difficult considering Maison's public image. Even Theo's been featured in the magazine a few times now.
Theo's smile was always reassuring, and he placed both hands confidently upon her shoulders as he built her up to the new members of their ramshackle crew.
Our Mina's the only one here who has a chance of getting through undetected by pretending to be a maid. Meanwhile, I'll be hidden in between the sheets that she brings into his room. If we're lucky enough to find Jazmine right away, sharp-dressed man and I will be able to sneak her back out the way we came in.
In the middle of executing this very plan, Mina places a hand within the sheets where Theo lies quietly for his cue. He senses her anxiety and affirms her tactical perfection with a whisper.
You've thought of everything you could, dear. Now it's up to us to follow through.
She exhales the breath she'd been holding, returning a hushed.
I know.
Having dragged the cart up to the second-story walkway, she looks out into the mostly vacant parking lot.
But wait! If it's a disguise that we need, Aloe and Witchy Woman have got a real foxy one that we could use!
Sunny interjected, ever eager to join in on the operation.
I'd considered that, but actually I have something else in mind for you and Eloise, Sunny.
Mina replied, doing her best to remain confident at her first sign of objection.
We can't search the room with optics around, and I don't want to assume that he's keeping her hidden there in plain sight.
Weston caught on fast.
I see. They'll be the distraction with me instead of Alexa.
Mina nodded, grateful that the photographer was so quick to follow.
Precisely.
Alexa, too, appeared to have no objection despite still being the most tense during their discussion.
Good. I can't make any promises that I won't kill him the moment he's in arm's reach.
The threat in her voice only made Mina appreciate having the Russian agent on her side more. A short distance away from the parking lot, just out of view of Optics' van, Weston stands with Sunny and Eloise along with several pieces of photo equipment. They look up at Mina and give her the signal to indicate that they are ready. She nods back to them and looks toward Optics' van where Alexa hides out of sight. A single private eye bobs up from the brush before disappearing. During Mina's exhaustive instruction, Alexa was advised on her new task.
From what we can tell in Weston's photo, he's an exterminator, and he used his van to abduct Jazz. If he's not keeping Jazz somewhere inside, there might be a clue there. While Theo and I are searching the motel, you and Private Eye should be able to check the van.
Alexa didn't argue.
Understood. It's been a while since I've picked a lock.
Eloise, however, appeared to have a different idea.
Why waste time? Don't you agree, Cherie?
She looked knowingly at her Sunny companion. Soulful Strut manifested and produced a sticker from its palm like a tape dispenser, handing it to Alexa.
Here, Alexa, slap this sticker on the van and ask it really nicely to open up and it'll unlock the door for you. She might even be able to give you some intel.
Mina couldn't help but clap with excitement. This had been a detail they'd neglected to mention to her at this point.
Oh, excellent! I was curious if Soulful Strut would work without you, Sunny. And that just leaves you, Eloise, and Weston buying us time with optics. But more importantly...
Figuring out if he can see stands.
Weston completed her sentence as he realized it himself. Sunny frowned, the reality of this job seeming to sink into her now.
That sounds dangerous.
You were the ones who wanted in on this.
Alexa spat back haughtily. Eloise, ever confident and unflappable, stated the obvious intention.
If we can see Witchy Woman, then we may very well have our serial killer.
With a revised strategy and newfound resolve, each member of the rescue team awaits launching it into action. Mina approaches room 201, and after a deep, calming breath, knocks on the door.
Housekeeping!
Mina raises her voice to a surprising volume in between knocks. The door opens without hesitation, startling her, and she is met with the single eye of a gaunt and greasy-haired man peeking through the crack. She gulps and fights back the urge to run.
Hello. I've come to change the bed.
Mina holds her breath and waits for an answer. There was a significant chance that he would refuse, and because he hadn't opened the door all the way, Sunny wouldn't be able to distract him without raising suspicion. The last thing she wanted to do was have another wrench thrown into her plan. But thankfully, the wraith of a man opened the door wide and stepped outside with her, gesturing her into the room.
Right, of course.
He replied in a voice much less intimidating than his unblinking stare.
Let me get out of your way. I should be going anyway.
Relief overwhelms Mina as she smiles at him and pushes her cart inside.
Thank you. I'll be quick.
She insists. She looks past his shoulders to see Sunny approaching before giving Optics a timid wave and closing the door behind her. The sound of Sunny's voice carries even through the walls.
Hey, you up there! Tall guy!
Huh? Me?
Optics stammers back, pointing meekly to himself. Sunny beams.
Yeah, you cutie. Mind lending us a hand down here?
Sure.
Optics heads toward the stairs to meet the peppy model who wastes no time in grabbing him by the arm and leading him through the parking lot to her friends.
Nice to meet you. Name's Sunny. How about you?
Steiner.
He answers, and Sunny giggles at the bright red color flooding his face as she draws him in closer.
Steiner, huh? Cute name for a cute face. Ever been on a photo shoot before, Steiner?
Optics swallows hard in an attempt to wet his drying mouth.
No,
Sunny interrupts, dragging him now completely out of sight of his van and the door to his motel room.
Oh, it's a blast! Believe it or not, I'm a model. And these are my friends. Our photographer, Weston, and my best friend,
Eloise Margot.
He finishes, making eye contact with the intense model.
I know. You're all from Maison.
Sunny playfully pushes on his shoulder as Eloise looks away to concentrate on reducing her glare.
Oh, a fan! You didn't say you recognized me?
Optics laughs nervously, and Weston smiles.
You don't exactly give people much room to say anything, Sunny.
Rude! You've gotten a lot bolder lately, Wes.
We have work to do, Cherie. Just tell him what to do so we can go home.
Eloise gripes, putting out her cigarette on the ground with an aggressive stomp of her heel. Sunny rolls her eyes and leans in close to Optics, who she still has not released from her clutches.
Aloe can be a real party pooper sometimes. She's lucky she's such a pretty face, huh?
Optics is unable to reply with words, his entire face now a proper shade of crimson, and Sunny laughs.
Go on, you can agree. Aloe's pretty hot stuff. But of course, that's her job. Speaking of, don't you think our designer outdid himself on her new look?
Eloise meets Optics' gaze again, waiting expectantly for him to comment on what she's wearing. A brand new outfit topped off with a strange witch's hat, none other than her own stand, Witchy Woman. The severity of her eye contact prods an answer out of him.
Yeah, it's quite something. I don't think I've ever seen Eloise without her beret before.
A curiously cautious answer. Sunny and Weston exchange brief looks while Eloise narrows her eyes suspiciously.
The first thing he notices is the hat.
She thinks to herself. Weston, realizing that the silence following Optics' answer has carried on too long, quickly interjects.
Not since last year's summer issue, anyway. We did shoot a swimsuit line without it, remember? Right. Of course.
Optics stumbles.
I don't usually pick up those issues.
Aww!
Sunny squeezes Optics' hand, returning smoothly back to her earlier ruse as she presses a finger to his nose.
No need to be so chaste, Steiny. They're just swimsuits.
By this point, Optics is a hot and bumbling mess, and Eloise groans.
Weston, would you please explain to this poor man what you need him to do so we can get on with our day?
Theo brushes the wrinkles out of his suit as he returns to form with the touch of sharp-dressed man. And Mina bites her thumbnail nervously as she watches Optics meet Sunny at the floor below.
That was too simple.
She confides.
Yes, well, let's not look a gift horse in the mouth, shall we? Jazmine doesn't appear to be here, so I'll try to be quick.
Sharp-dressed man shears the wall into the next room as Theo prepares to follow.
Right.
Mina agrees, turning back to her cart and withdrawing a notepad. She scribbles down a map of the registry still in her memory before handing it to Theo.
Please be careful. Rooms 204, 205, 207, and 209 are occupied on this floor. When I looked in, I didn't see anyone inside them, but that doesn't mean anything.
Of course.
Theo nods, looking over the map briefly before tucking it away into his pocket. He then points to his head.
Now then, I don't want you being left without some help. Go on.
Peace of Mind releases the tape of the motel steward's memory as Mina's returns to her forehead.
Do you have a preference on what I take?
By all means, you're welcome to anything. I've got plenty of experiences to share, though I'm sure most are things you wouldn't be interested in.
He teases.
I'll just go for how to cross-stitch.
Mina mumbles, her cheeks a hot pink as she exchanges her memory of Morse code, and Peace of Mind's arm is replaced with Sharp-Dressed Man's diamond blade. Theo laughs and waves before sewing the wall behind him back up to continue through the motel, and Mina sighs to collect herself for the next steps of their plan. She presses the smiley face sticker underneath her lapel and speaks aloud.
What's your status, Alexa?
A higher-pitched voice comes through the sticker, though it is distinctly Alexa's.
In the van. I can hear Sunny from here, but so far no sign of Jazmine. Not even a strand of hair.
Mina frowns, even though it was the exact answer she was expecting.
She's not in the room either. Or rather, not the real Jazz anyway.
Several copies of JoJo's first appearance in Maison lie scattered across the room, while old, discarded issues appear tied and shoved into the corner. The cover that she had signed is taped to the wall in front of the desk, which is littered with trash and dying marigold flowers. Every single image of Jazz from the magazine has been cut out carefully and placed smoothly next to the autograph in an unsettling collage.
Theo's gone to look for her.
Mina carefully begins searching the room for other clues, doing her best to return everything back to their original place by the exact centimeter. But nothing she finds tells her anything about optics that she hadn't already gleaned from her first impression. Alexa's voice exclaims from the sticker, and Mina shrieks in surprise.
Alexa, what's wrong?
Ugh, it was nothing. I just touched something slimy. Don't really want to know what that was.
It's probably for the best.
Mina agrees, spotting several syringes of morphine that sends a lump of anxiety into the pit of her stomach. Assuming the worst, Mina decides to keep this detail to herself to spare Alexa. She presses the sticker again and asks,
Theo, how are things on your end?
Oddly, there is no response. A nervous habit returning, Mina bites her thumbnail.
He might need to be quiet right now. I shouldn't bother him too much.
She rationalizes to herself. With another touch to the sticker, she listens in on the conversation between Sunny and the others.
You're doing great, Steiny! We just need a few more shots! I'm happy to help, but I'm about to be late for work.
Optics replies, and the sound of something being patted down catches Mina's attention.
And it looks like I forgot my keys to my van. I really should head back.
Mina gasps as Sunny desperately tries to keep him from leaving.
Wait! Come on, Steiny! We really need your help! It's not every day you get a grip almost as tall as Weston! Just a few more minutes! Pretty please!
Weston can be heard adding to the conversation, pleading in an effort to keep Optics occupied.
All you have to do is just stand right there and block the direct sunlight. We've lost so many employees lately, we really do need the help.
Mina taps out of Sunny's conversation and back to Theo with urgency.
Theo! Optics is trying to head back! Where are you?
She waits anxiously for a response, but even after a whole minute passes, she gets no reply.
He should say something by now. Even if he and Sharp-Dressed Man would be safe on their own to keep searching, he should still be able to tell me that. Something's not right.
Mina peeks out the window to see Alexa still searching the van with one private eye hovering high above the perimeter. Although Optics is still out of her own sight, Mina knows she can rely on Alexa to alert her should he make his way back. She taps the sticker and tells her Russian companion.
I'm not getting a response from Theo. I'm going to go look for him.
Be quick. I don't know how much longer Sunny will be able to hold him. He's getting antsy.
Alexa warns. Peace of Mind uses Sharp-Dressed Man's arm to cut through the wall the same way Theo had done before, and Mina looks down to see a thin and clear thread leading through the room, marking where the designer had already searched.
Theo, you mad genius!
She breathes with relief, following the trail through room after room. Suddenly, the string comes to a dead end, and Mina looks around for any sign of her ally, but nothing in the vacant room appears out of place.
Why did he stop?
She questions before something else suddenly occurs to her.
This should be room 209, but all of these rooms have been empty.
Mina, he's coming back!
Alexa alerts.
No! No, 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 no!
Mina mutters as she racks her brain for a decision. She closes her eyes tight and listens carefully, trying to hear something. Anything that would indicate a sign of life in the derelict motel. Surely, with its paper-thin walls and cheap floors, she would be able to hear someone if she just listened hard enough. And just beneath her, she caught it. The sound of something hissing in the room below. Using the diamond-clad arm gained from Sharp-Dressed Man, Peace of Mind cuts through the floor and allows Mina to slip down below. Landing in the room, she is instantly met with a cloud of chemical-smelling fog. Coughing, Mina instinctively covers her nose and mouth to keep her from breathing in whatever it is, and she squints her watering eyes to look for the source of the sound. Sprawled out on the floor to the bathroom, Theo lies unconscious, having been knocked out by the aerated pesticides having been released from within. Mina scrambles toward him and shakes him vigorously, but he does not stir, his breathing slow and shallow. And outside the room, she hears creaking steps climbing the stairway back to the second floor. Of course, the van was a bust. Whoever this Steiner Optics was, he was thorough. Somehow, he had wiped the scene of his crime completely clean from even private eyes, so it was no surprise that the van he had used to commit his atrocity would be spotless too. Still, Alexa couldn't help but be furious. If she weren't so certain that Jazmine was real, she would almost start to believe that this new light in her life was the work of her imagination. Optics manages to break away from Sunny's vice-like grip and starts heading back toward the motel, and Alexa withdraws her private eye while exiting the van and removing the sticker from its door.
Mina, he's coming back!
She warns as she runs out of sight, swearing up and down at how everything seems to be going south.
We are not leaving here without Jazmine.
She promises, through grit teeth. Optics unlocks the door to his motel room to an unfamiliar fluorescent light. He squints, even though his eyes had already adjusted to the sun outside. And when he manages to open his eyes back up, he sees the meek-looking maid as she finishes smoothing out the comforter on his bed. She smiles at him pleasantly and remarks,
All done. Sorry for taking so long. I'll be on my way now.
She takes quick steps to her cart with her small arms full of the used sheets and drops them carefully on top.
Thanks.
Optics says, looking around his room to see that nothing appears to be out of place. He passes her on her way to the door and walks to his desk to pick up his van's keys.
Wait!
The maid freezes in the doorway and cautiously looks over her shoulder.
Yes?
My Bible.
Optics says, not looking back at her.
Where did you put my Bible?
Bible?
She repeats.
Oh, I think I tucked it back in its drawer. You can ask the front desk for another if...
Optics smirks, the door in front of the timid maid slamming and trapping her back in the room with him.
Trick question, Mina.
He says, turning around to face the girl he had known all along to be Ashton Upman's secretary.
This room doesn't have a Bible.
He's a stand user.
Mina's heart stops.
He's known what we've been doing all along.
Did you find what you were looking for?
He asks, the smile on his face growing as Mina's terror mounts.
If I let go of Sharp-Dressed Man, I can get his memories of where he's keeping Jazz. But if I do that, I'll lose my only means of defense. Peace of Mind isn't an offensive stand, and I didn't get to lay any traps in the room while worrying about Theo. And I don't know what he's capable of. I have to make a decision.
The diamond blade disappears from Peace of Mind's body, and Mina directs her stand toward Optics. However, when its fist makes contact with Optics' forehead, no tape is retrieved from his mind.
But how?
You can't take a memory that doesn't exist yet.
Optics answers, slowly picking up the lamp from his desk with one hand. The shrill sound of Mina's voice as she screams in pain echoes outside of the motel and through Soulful Strut's stickers. Weston, Eloise, and Sunny run toward Alexa as she dashes out into the open and jumps on top of the van to look toward Optics' motel room where Mina's scream came from. The door opens, and Steiner Optics approaches the rail to look down on his opponents in the parking lot with a confident grin. Without hesitation, Alexa draws her Makarov and pulls the trigger. But her gun doesn't fire.
What?
What's the matter? Forget to load your gun.
Optics chuckles. Alexa checks her weapon incredulously, but not a single bullet is in the magazine.
But I made sure to load it before we even left Maison.
Mustn't be too sure.
He brags.
Obviously you weren't aware of it the whole time. Otherwise, you'd have shot me.
Just let Jazz go, Steiner!
Sunny shouts.
She's our friend, and we don't want her to get hurt!
Your friend?
Optics' voice carries from another corner of the motel, but his mouth doesn't move.
You've only known her for a few weeks.
Again, the Optics standing before them does not even twitch his lips. his voice appearing in yet another direction.
But I've known her whole life.
Cautiously, the team looks away from their enemy to find the source of this voice, and Optics places a hand on his chest passionately.
And I know what's best for her. I will protect her, even if it's from the likes of you.
Optics pulls off his coveralls and reveals the skin-tight leather suit of Dreamweaver. And from various nooks and crannies of the motel, copies of the kidnapper inhabiting his stand's body slink into view and taunt Maison's team. A tentacle reaches out from within the van and lurches nearby Alexa's foot, causing her to jump off the vehicle and down to the pavement. The squid-like body of Dreamweaver pulsates from the back of the van, shifting into the familiar form of its user as it creeps into view.
Any one of you could be the Square Biz Killer.
Optics accuses. The many voices surrounding coalesce into a cacophony of threats.
No one at Maison can be trusted when it comes to jazz, you hear? No one! I won't take any chances. I'll kill every last one of you, and anyone else at Maison who tries to touch her.
Alexa clenches her fist as the many versions of Optics slither away, each one wriggling and writhing, squeezing themselves into corners and cracks, underneath door frames and hiding within the looming Livewire Motel.
Well, one thing's for sure.
Weston says, rubbing the back of his neck to wipe away the cold sweat.
JoJo's definitely in there somewhere.
And so are Mina and Theo!
Sonny reminds them fretfully.
But we're totally outnumbered! What are we gonna do?
Eloise turns to Alexa, who is clearly lost in the thought of planning her next step.
Somehow I stand let him remove the bullets from your gun, no?
It must have been whenever I was in the van. Those tentacles. That must have been part of it.
So don't touch anything.
Eloise muses before turning to Sonny.
How many stickers can you give us, Jerry?
Huh? Stickers?
Eloise puts out her hand expectantly.
To open the doors. If we want to get to Jazmine's, then we need to get inside. Until we know how his stand works, we need to keep our hands to ourselves, so stickers.
Oh, okay.
Soulful Strut manifests next to Sonny and begins printing stickers from its palms.
Then take as many as you can hold.
Weston, Eloise, and Alexa take a handful of Soulful Strut stickers and look upon the ominous motel in apprehension. Alexa remains the most resolute of the team, the first to take a step toward their ultimate destination.
We each pick a different room and cross our fingers. Approach carefully and be prepared for anything. She has to be behind one of them.
Alexa urges.
We do not leave here without Jazmine.